Hello friends, welcome to the channel. I think it's working. I know I say this quite a lot, but I'm never sure. I kind of reinstalled Windows recently when I got a new video card. Yeah, and I just had loads of passwords and stuff to remember or change, as often happens. Because I don't use any kind of password management thing or whatever. So yeah, not great. Anyway, this is a dude that I started on Twitch, actually, a few days ago. I can't remember when it was, but a few days ago anyway. It's a bit dark. It's weird, like I had no idea, but things have changed here. Let me muck around with the filter a little bit just so you can see things. I know it's not ideal, but as soon as the sun comes up, then things will be better. Yeah, things have changed in this zone, which I've found quite weird, actually. This is little Mage, by the way, little gnome Mage with my Magey pet. Because I'm not sure when it was patched out. This is the green server, so I don't know if it was just a thing that was supposed to be on green and it was changed, but it was never changed on blue. I don't know, but there used to be loads of kobold camps here where you kill kobolds, but they're actually now not here, so that's interesting. But I'm here anyway, this little magey dude, just slowly levelling up some stuff with my little earth pet. I know this is the kind of, not really a meme actually, it's definitely a thing, but you know that thing where you start off as any of the casters and get into level 4 is a bit of a nightmare. When you get to level 4 it kind of sorts itself out pretty well actually, particularly for a mage, because you don't get a pet at level 1. There's a really annoying troll NPC as well running around. He's already killed me once. I don't think I can kill those. I think they're too high. They're all, yeah. Yeah, there used to be kobold camps over there, but they're not there anymore. So, yeah. I haven't given up on things like Hero's Journey. As I said, I've reinstalled Windows, and that's kind of really been about all I've done. But I will be getting back into it again. Definitely. There's lots of, yeah, I have to look into it actually. I've never played on P99 without the Knoll camps, so yeah, it's interesting. It's not something I've ever experienced, but I'm assuming it must have been a thing back when. My pet is yellow. No, that doesn't necessarily mean that it would stand up to yellow mobs, but I should be killing higher level stuff, and I would be if the gnolls were here, but they're not, so maybe I need to look around for a different little spot. Yeah, anyway, hope you're doing well. I started playing the GTA games. They're games that kind of like I played the original 2D ones, but the 3D ones I never really played that much. I played GTA 3 once, and that was about it. So I've been playing the definitive editions that have had a bit of a hard time with regards to release and quality of the upgrades or whatever it may be. I'm playing them and they're running buttery smooth. They're fine. I haven't really noticed any bugs, particularly outside of the terrible driving AI. Because that is always the way, even in modern ones. Yeah. Actually, I can probably just potter around over here, just killing things on this side. Actually, the gnolls are a big miss, but you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, yeah, I played through GTA 3 and I had a lot of fun, but it is a terrible game. Like, just mechanically, so many things just don't work. I think the translation from like a 2D kind of action-based game to a 3D world didn't translate very well. I'm playing through Vice. But now I'm currently playing through Vice City, and I'm loving it. Like, the 80s vibe is just unreal. You know, it's from a pop music side of things. It's just a massive 80s vibe, and the gameplay's much better as well. So yeah, I'm doing that. And I'll probably move on to and then I'll probably play through all of them at some point. Hey Liz, how you doing? It's bloody raining now as well. Okay. Yeah, some of the bands they had in that game as well. I think there was an issue with some music was removed because of copyright or whatever. They didn't pay for the licenses again. But like, you got a talk track, which I was quite surprised about. Got quite a few kind of British acts in there, and there's an NPC who talks like a, you know, he actually sounds like a proper. He's trying to talk like a Cockney, and he sounds like he's a proper one, but it's quite exaggerated. And actually, in London, you don't really hear that Cockney thing too much with regards to like phrases and changes of words and that kind of thing. It's been kind of, I don't know, it's been morphed into like in it and all that kind of stuff. Rattles and pears to in it, and I'm not a fan. There you go. This is most frustrating because a Cobalt. I wonder if these camps are still on blue. I bet they are. I'm sure the last time I played a gnome on blue, they were still there. It's weird that they're not here. I'm assuming they're supposed to be not here. I'm not sure if green has just got some updated stuff that they never put into blue. I don't know. But yeah, that it would easily get you to 8 pretty quickly. But now, I know you got the windmill. I think those mobs might be slightly too high though. Yeah, I think they're more. You go there at 8. I think the knoll camps there were kind of like the. That was the getting to 8 kind of camp. But now I'm not sure where to go other than killing. The worst thing is like running around having to look for roamers to kill. And Steamfont does have quite a lot of aggro NPCs running around at quite a much higher level than me as well. Wait until the day. We'll have a look around. I said this before, I don't think they're available, but I like all the guard armours that they have. That would be cool if it was available as a skin for gnomes. Maybe it is. I know some of them are not. Actually, I think it's... No, actually, maybe some of them are not. I know the helms that don't seem to be. For some of them anyway. Like, I think a dwarf helm, guard helm, I don't think I've ever seen a player with that. I don't think. Okay, well, let's hang around here then until... There's a little skeleton there. I've got a dagger. I've got a couple of... I don't think I've got room for that. I've got a couple of cracked staves in the stashed in the bags. Which ones, Liz? The Do you mean the UI? This is just kind of like I haven't. Normally I change the UI, but this is just the default one that came up. I think with yeah, Dux is one I've used in the past, but I wasn't like okay, that's probably to do with the fact that because it's night time and raining, I've got the I've got a filter on OBS just to turn. It's like a kind of basically a it's like a needs must so that you can see the game essentially. Because kind of for me, I don't know why, but for me anyway, like the OBS darkens the game even more. So at night I look at OBS and you can't even see the game. Whether that filters through to you, I'm not quite sure. But it's probably just got gamma turned up and stuff. Or I've got some settings changed to when the day comes. I'll turn them off to see if it actually gets rid of that. Hey Wilcott, how you doing? Lots of skeletons here. That's good. No bags yet, which is annoying. The sun does appear to be coming up though. Hey Don, how you doing? Yeah, I recently got a new GPU, so I'm not sure why I did. I'm kind of one of those old school people who maybe think you still need to do it, even if you don't anymore. Though I never trust Windows, but I did a fresh Windows install. I would become better at hand to hand. Where's my dagger? Oh, weird. Oh, I had a summoned dagger. That's why. Yeah, so I did a Windows. I did a fresh Windows install for whatever reason. And this is the first kind of MMO I've played essentially since then. I spent about 2 days trying to get passwords and stuff back again. I forgot, and then I started playing the GTA games, which is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Because whatever reason, I think when they first started coming out, I'm not sure if they were console only games. They probably were, and I was playing MMOs and stuff, so didn't really. 4 was the one that I've got the most experience with. I was just saying, I don't know if anyone knows, but I was thinking to myself when I first got. Oh, a little box. I was thinking to myself when I first got here, I was saying, where are all the bloody Cobalt camps gone? Because they're not on green. I'm assuming it must have been some patch thing where they were removed or whatever, but I'm not sure. I'm sure they're still on blue. I'm sure the last time I played, they were still on blue. So you got the one over there, but that's it. All the others are gone. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of just scrambling around, picking up the odd all the blue low-level roamers. But you know, we'll get there. I'm on green. Um, I'm assuming that green has got some patch or change that they just didn't incorporate on blue for whatever reason. Maybe, not sure. But yeah, they were all along the back here, weren't they? And there's one here. There's some in the middle. They were great leveling till 8. So now I'm kind of thinking we're going to need to go somewhere else at some point. Normally go from here to like the windmill, you know, but I think the windmill's going to be too high. Well, I'm not sure of a mage though. I've really, I mean, I kind of played a no mage ages ago on P99. We're talking a lot, many years. Like a gnome. I got to level 30 or something. But other than that, I'm really not sure what the capabilities are of the pets kind of per level. I just picked the earth pet because it's got the most hit points. It's got root. I thought it might be useful. A lot of people say, I'm not sure what the best leveling one is. Some people say the fire one for the self fire shield, but I don't know. There's loads of mobs down in the pit there. They're kind of all level 1 and level 2 though. I think the infected rats are level 2. So. It's funny. I think this was one of the certainly some zones, like definitely zones in Everquest, and it's weird. It's the same in all the new indie MMOs as well. Is that there's just the mob distribution from a leveling curve point of view is just in some zones just terrible. It's almost like there was never a pass. And there are just not enough like what you would call camps for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, back in the day, like Everquest, I know there was some limitation with the graphical RAM and what you could fit into the RAM, what they could fit into the RAM with regards to models and stuff, textures and stuff like that. But there's no excuse nowadays. But yeah, it seems to be an issue where there's just not. I don't think for a minute that it's purposely done. You know, it's like I don't know. Other MMOs kind of use it as a, we're going to limit the amount of mobs available because that's just how it was. You know, yeah, that they all suffer from the same issue. You know, it's like it boggles my mind that you get. Oh, that's my third cracked star. Got anywhere to put that? Yeah. It boggles my mind that all the indie MMOs just fall into the same trap. You know, it's weird. Like I don't see how they can have like can't be a technical limitation now, but they still fall into the same thing. You know, where the game comes out or a test starts and you've got like 6 people just running to the same mob hoping to hit it first or do the most damage. I mean, it's literally like the worst type of gameplay ever from an MMO. It just seems a weird thing to do. I mean, there are ways of slowing people down, but like, you know, having them, it was like in the Monsters Memories test the recent one that I played. It was just, yeah, it was rubbish. You know, 6 people running to attack something. It's just not fun at all. And I can't understand why that would be implemented as a mechanic or a thing. Yeah, I mean, from what I can remember from when I played a magician a long time ago, I think the Fire Pet DS is always is it always one power ahead of the one that you can cast? Maybe I don't know actually, or maybe it was one below. But obviously, you had to keep casting it. That was the, you know, that was the thing. Oh, I've to be honest, I've given up giving feedback on MMOs of any sort. You know, it's just a waste of time. I know that you really like the game and you're really into it and stuff, and that's fair enough. But I just find it a complete waste of time. Now it's just not. You know, Monster Memories has the same issue that other games have. It's like you know you dare mention anything that might be against the design docs, you know, and yeah, it's got the same sort of people there who were in the other games. They just move around essentially, gatekeeping. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm a massive gatekeeper. there's a lot of things that have happened in the last 5 to 10 years which have been massively gate kept, but you know, it's like the thing that the thing the thing that doesn't make any sense to me, or or the reason I kind of, or the reason that I kind of just gave up producing content of that type, is that the current indie MMO design is confused, and I'm not sure if it's confused on purpose, or if there's a or if I don't know. I guess what's happening is that maybe developers are just choosing bits from games that they've played and they're implementing them. But that does create a confusion in the player base, because it's like someone says, "Oh, you know, Neckbeard's X Pawn Stars is coming out, and it's a new MMO, and it's like EverQuest, and I've played it, and it's just like EverQuest, and you know, all that kind of stuff that happens with every game." And then you go and play it, and you start playing it, and you think, yeah, actually, there's quite a lot of stuff here that's quite like EverQuest. Well, actually, no. Initially, you might think to yourself, well, actually, yeah, this kind of feels like EverQuest. The spells are kind of the same, the mechanics are the same and stuff. But then you kind of come across mechanics that are not the same, you know, and I think people go, oh, okay, well, I mean, that's not the same. And you could just brush that off and just say, well, that's the decision that's been made. Some stuff from EverQuest has been implemented and some stuff's not, but then it can kind of creates a confusion as to why has the decision been made to. So let's take like Monster Memories, for example. Why has the decision been made to copy over the summon food spell like verbatim? So you cast a spell, you get one food. What the fuck? What is the point of that now? What is that doing? You know. And there are other more extreme examples of that, where it feels to me that a lot of the systems that are copied over from EverQuest, for example, are the systems that were the ones that were just the most frustrating or the most time consuming. And they're kind of, sometimes, in some cases, they're made more frustrating or more time consuming. It's never it never feels like it's any of the, you know, the quality of life stuff or whatever that's changed. You know, it's, yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I play all the games, and I played all the classic games, and I still get confused. Not in the sense that like duh, but I just get confused as to what's the point? Who are you trying to appeal to? You know, it's, yeah, it's, I find it weird. I find it weird that we're transferring stuff over from EverQuest, and a lot of the stuff that you see transferred over is a lot of the frustrating, time-consuming stuff, and it's like, well, why was that decision made? Yeah, and like I don't know. I think you just have that. I mean, I just have that thing where the more I play a game, the more I have like what the fuck moments, you know. Um, like hell levels is another one. It's like what the fuck, you know. And I'm happy to say what the fuck about that kind of thing because I just do not understand it. Um, just spread the XP out. If that's how much XP you want, just spread it out. It's literally like, you know, um, yeah, just bizarre. I mean, at best, it was a mechanic. Depending who you speak, who you listen to, it was a mechanic that was purposely implemented. Um, you know, to slow players down. And more likely, you know, a mathematical issue that wasn't gone and, you know, kind of ironed out before Everquest came out. You know, it's like, why would we implement that into a new game? I just don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. People used to try and play it off in Everquest as like a rite of passage, and when you did it, you felt achievement and stuff. But I never did. I just felt frustrated because it took 10 times longer. Well, 4 or 5 times longer maybe to get through levels that were already quite long to get through. Yeah, I find the whole genre, the scene, confusing, and I've said it before, and I'm kind of repeating myself, moaning again, I guess. But yeah, I just find it weird. I find it weird why we make the choice to implement certain things but not other things, and the things that are implemented seem to be the things that, as I said, were the things that people maybe didn't like so much. You know, the time-consuming things, the things that kind of artificially keep you playing. Yeah, I mean, because food and drink is so cheap, it kind of is, right? It's like, I guess the idea of some food and water was, if you're out in a pinch and you forget and it runs out, then yeah, you've got it as a spell. But what I don't understand is why choose that as like a 1-for-1 from EverQuest to implement in your new game, work the same way, amongst some other things. But then there are so many other things that are kind of not. And as I said, like, it can all be kind of just brushed off by saying, well, that's just the design of the game and that's what they wanted to do, and that's fine. Like, I wouldn't argue with that. But I think it definitely creates like a confusion. Or female rat. That's hardcore. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Liz. That was kind of just a bit of another indie MMO rant based on what you were saying there about getting crap for daring to mention something. And it'll be like that through the whole of development of Monster Memories, like it was Pantheon, like it has been Pantheon, like it was Embers Adrift. I saw it the other day about one of the mechanics. Can't remember what it was, and a lot of the comments were, "Oh, you know, lol, oh, this is a classic game. Oh, this game's obviously not for you." Oh, all that kind of stuff. But then, what's their answer? What's their answer when there are systems in the game that are not like a classic MMO, which is what they've all got? Now, how can you defend one, but then, you know, not? How can you give someone shit about one, but then you're not giving the developers a shit about other stuff that's not classically implemented? You know. And I'm not saying that, you know, they should be classically implemented. What I'm saying is that that's where the confusion comes from. That's where people ask questions and they wonder why something was implemented in one way and something was different. You know, I think that's pretty natural. Let me just default the... Oh, it's a bit darker, isn't it? So I'll just default... That's too high. Just getting rid of the nighttime filter that I've got. Anyway, yeah, just to kind of finish off what you said. Yeah, I've just stopped giving feedback in the end, Liz. It just didn't seem pointless, really. It's just, you know, it can all be brushed off by, well, that's just how it is, or worst excuse, I think. Well, it's niche. We're trying to be niche. You know, that's the worst one. I just think that's a cop out. That's kind of like a, I don't know, get out jail free card, really. Because I mean, we're not talking about like New World players who've only ever played New World, like coming to your game and moaning about stuff. You know, over the years, you know, the feedback that I've got, like these are classic MMO players. You know, these are players that I'm assuming you're kind of aiming at. You know, it's not people telling you who are coming from modern WoW. You know, it's just a confusion amongst. I wonder if games. I wonder if they can't. I guess. I mean, it's difficult because you haven't got much time, I guess. But I wonder if games are just developed in a bubble, and you're just not aware of what's going on within the scene. So, like, if I was kind of creating an indie MMO based on classic sensibilities, I'd kind of be looking at, what's happened to the other games. Why is the community kind of not playing those games? You know, what's the deal? What's going on? What's some of the feedback that they've had? Yeah, but I don't think that's a thing particularly. I quite like player housing. I mean, if a game doesn't have it, like, I'm not heartbroken or anything, but I do. But I don't mind it. I'm not one to go pretty much for a lot of the decorating and stuff, though. The problem with player housing is if it's visible to other players, it's fecking horrible. Like Shroud of the Avatar had that. New World has got it. Like, you run past someone's house, I don't know, it looks like a blind school has decorated the front. You know, it's just... I mean, in New World, you run past some houses. It was the same in Shroud of the Avatar as well. You'd have like some winter stuff, like snowmen and whatnot. And then you'd have next to it, you'd have like a demon skin, demon statue or something. And it's just terrible, you know. Oh, God, is my pet... My pet's picked up aggro somewhere. That's bad news. Yeah, it was horrible. Same in New World, though, where you run past a house and there's about 14 different themes of things in the front garden, you know. It's just rubbish. I think all of it, including the entrance, needs to be instanced. Like, I don't want to see someone's terrible, house design skills. that's the thing. The worst thing with Sota was that because the game was so unoptimized, all the housing bits and pieces caused loads of slowdown. So not only did it look bad, but you ran incredibly slowly through it sometimes, depending on how the server was feeling. That was one of the worst things. I found this little spot. I quite like this little spot near the zone line here. Yeah, exactly. It was funny. I don't know if it was just because of the visual style and the perspective, but actually, it wasn't so much that. No, because I think of Ultima Online housing. I never felt that way of Ultima Online, but I think Ultima Online didn't have pink dragons and what else to stick around. You know, most people just seem better at designing their properties in Ultima Online, but that's probably because they didn't give you a load of skins to spread around. You know, just. Oh, hello. Oh, there we go. There's an odd mixture of mob levels here. But it's quite a few blues though, which is good. I don't even mind like even cons and yellows really. Pet seems to be. Oops. Oh, Jobban's got aggro. I only played Qualm for a very, very short period of time and never went back. I kind of feel that you have to do like. I think the reason that I liked Hero's Journey was because it's basically a different game. It's not P99 and they've changed a few bits to make it, you know, to give it more. What's it called? Give it more quality of life. I mean, Hero's Journey is basically like completely change. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Hero's Journey is a completely different game. That's kind of, I think, what I took to it. It's a completely different game, but with EQ, visuals and zones and stuff, whereas Qualm was kind of... But then I've never been a big fan of mods on games, to be honest with you. The only mod that I ever really played a lot, and I still play, were the Stalker mods, the Gamma mod, particularly. We moved. We moved. When did we move? It was say a little while ago. What is it now? Is it August? Isn't it? I think it was April we moved. Yeah. Got some scouts over there. Yeah, that was one of the big things with Hero's Journey as well. Not sure if those skeletons are aggro or not. I think the puma's at least threatening, I think. Do you mean like the Qualm and the Hero's Journey stuff, Liz? Well, I think Qualm has come back up, and they had to make some changes. Some people were suggesting that they just, you know, took one for the team, like they made a lot of changes that maybe they're a bit soft, maybe they didn't need to make. But I thought, oh, there's a shield, dude. I think it's a skeleton. I think the Hero's Journey people are still going through their legal stuff, I think. Oh yeah, Steve, remember you telling me that a while ago. Yeah, we keep talking about it. I just keep my mouth shut mostly. I don't want to get into it really, not on a stream. But I would drop the UK like a bad habit yesterday if I could. It's just a absolute farce at the moment. Well, the hero's journey is still going. Like, they didn't shut down, but Qualm did shut down, but they've reopened again. But they had to change some stuff that I guess Daybreak were not happy about. But I mean, you know, we don't know what the discussions were, but some people are suggesting that the Qualm guys just basically did everything that they were told, essentially. Whereas I kind of feel that the hero's journey people are kind of not doing that. I don't know. Maybe it will turn out, but maybe it will turn out worse than in the long run. I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting. I think there's a thing about protecting your intellectual property, and like if all the Everquest servers went down tomorrow because of Daybreak Games, I wouldn't go and play live Everquest. So, you know, so maybe some people would, maybe they would gain some numbers. I don't know. I think they'll probably gain more enemies than numbers. Yeah, your wife's Italian. Yeah, that's. My highest level character is still not 60. I think it's a 57 shaman, which I should really go and just crank out to 60 one day, shouldn't I? Just to, yeah, just to say that I finally did it after 12 years, whatever it's been. This is green. This is just like a little dude that I'm faffing around with on green. I think Daybreak also run Lord of the Rings online, don't they? Which is yeah. It was cool that the City of Heroes guys came up with a you know, a plan, you know, like a deal for the you know, with the developers, with the you know, the guys who own the rights now. I think it's a Chinese company or something, Korean company. You know, but they can you know, they can run their servers fine, which is good. What did they do, Liz, anyway, Daybreak? Yeah, I played Anarchy Online when it first came out, whenever that would have been, early 2000s. I liked it. I liked the theme and the atmosphere and stuff and whatnot. And I saw that old was it old Posh Strife Hayes did a video or videos on it recently. I think he did a video and everyone cried, or he cried or something, or people cried, and he did another video. Yeah, it's one of those things where you see a video on an MMO and you think, oh, I might go back and try that. Yeah, but I did, but it wasn't one that I got heavily into. Yeah, it's kind of like, for me, pushing to 60 on P99 now, I kind of think to myself, what would be, other than the achievement, which I do quite like the idea of that. I do think that what would be the point? What would I be aiming towards? Whatever way I look at it, you know, I'm not healthy enough to join a guild and raid and stuff. I can only play off peak. My health's been worse recently, so I've been playing less in general. So I kind of think to myself, what would be my what would be my point? You know, what would be the point of getting it other than the achievement of doing it? And I would like that. I particularly like it. Maybe it would round off the channel. I don't know. because I've been hearing all lots of horrible rumours about YouTube requiring some of this Online Safety Act ID rubbish just to log in, and if that happens, I think that's when I'll drop YouTube. So maybe I need to try and get 60 before that. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty bad, Liz. It's kind of like you know, I just think that for me, if I was a customer services manager or whatever dealing with that, it would just be just as a goodwill gesture, you know, let's give them the money back. You know, it's that's the thing. Oh, cheers, Nathan. Thank you, mate. That's fine. I mean, I do. I mean, Blue is still my main server. This was literally just something that I started up just to faff around, really. As I said, it's taken me. I installed, as I said, I've reinstalled I did fresh install Windows about 2 weeks ago, and there's still stuff I haven't installed yet. Only got Discord running a little while ago. It's tougher on P99 as well because I guess there's just more choice, but the player base is just smaller than it used to be. You know, when I first started, back when what is it? When had I first started? 2013, 2014 or something, probably. Like sometimes, like when I would log in, even like during fairly off-peak times, you know, there would be like 500 to 1,000 people on. But yeah, those days are gone, I think, you know, for whatever reason. I guess it reached a peak, and the people that were interested in it have moved away. You know, the spark's gone. It's amazing, isn't it, how like I can understand being a big company and you get certain customer aspects of customer service. That are automated and stuff, but really, you know, what I do want to get back to on Blue was that I started a thing where I was playing some characters, I was playing some classes that I never really played before, and that was quite interesting. That's been quite interesting. Like, I've enjoyed leveling the warrior. I mean, alright, yeah, I know it does have a fungi tunic, but I enjoyed that. And also, I've got a human paladin that I like from a role-playing aspect. You know, the black-haired guy with the big black tash and stuff. So I want to level him to, I think the warrior's 48 or something like that. And I want to get back onto the paladin and level that for a bit. Yeah, there was just some classes I was trying out that I wanted to play. Yeah, I think I'm not sure when I first started playing. I'm not sure when my first P99 video was not long after I started playing. So I guess it was probably 12 years ago or so. It was funny because for a long time, I would probably say for the majority of the time that I played on P99, because there was so much there's so much content, and there is so much content that I still really haven't seen, I never felt that I was losing out by not raiding. But as I got like a few characters into the 50s, and I thought to myself, like, raiding's probably just not going to be a thing. I think that my kind of my interest in pushing those characters to 60 kind of waned a bit. Well, it kind of stopped, essentially. Let's be honest. boxes, but no proper bags. I want a proper bag. Only 8 slot bags, I think, isn't it? Oh, what is that? Me? Oh, I've got no room. Really? Small bags, small boxes. Nope. I don't know why I'm one of those noobs that always keeps their food and drink in the first 2 slots. So I mean, I don't need to see it generally. Don't know why I do that. Yeah, it's just one of those weird things. I think there's definitely a feeling. I'm not sure if anyone else feels that way, but I think having played P99 so much, I think that definitely slightly playing P99 so much and getting burnt out on it. I wonder if that feeds into the more kind of new indie MMOs that are coming out as well. So because in some ways they're quite similar, even though they've got their own lick of paint and their own lore and stuff, maybe there's an element of burnout that transfers across. Don't know. What we'll do for a laugh is when we get near the zone, line. See, I was, I love hearing people's tales of Everquest. I kind of almost wish that I'd have been younger when Everquest came out. Well, that would mean I'd be younger now. That wouldn't be a bad thing, but you know what I mean. But I was like nearly 30 when Everquest first came out, so it's like, yeah, a lot of my playing when it first came out was done like in the evening when everyone went to bed. I'd wake up early in the morning before everyone got up, just to log in and quickly do something. I don't know what, you know. Yeah. But the kids are into it as well quite a lot, and I say we used to play together. Like they would. I used to have to give them like an hour each because they would just bicker endlessly about stuff. So yeah, it was like an hour each. I think a lot of it was mostly that my youngest son was he's quite a bad backseat driver, and I think it's partly because he's like really good at games. But yeah, so he would be going, "Oh, do this, no, do that," and obviously the eldest would be like, "Oh, for God's sake, you know." But I don't think they played a lot of Everquest. I think it was. I'm not sure if it was just a game that I was playing the most at the time, but they seem to remember Dark Age of Camelot rather than Female Rat's the only one. I'm assuming maybe it's a quest one. I don't know. Let's see what it drops. Level 5. A piece of rat fur. Okay. I think I've seen that drop before, maybe. So maybe it's not. I don't know. I was more interested in girls and going out. Yeah, well, I see I was a proper introvert, geeky introvert. It was weird because like I wasn't geeky, like, I'm not sure if I've ever said this before, but I came from, my family background is pretty rough. And I had some close family members who were involved in kind of, I guess you would have called them like the craze type gangs in the back in the day when I was growing up. I lived in East London, so I wasn't a geek, but I liked all the geeky stuff. But I didn't really. But my first experience with dating was I met someone. I worked in I worked in a game shop, game and comic shop. And I met someone, and that was it. That was my first kind of experience really with relationships. Yeah, I see. I honestly, I mean, I had other hobbies like I know it's really dark on screen. I do apologise. Let's see if I can increase the gamma on this thing. Increase contrast with gamma, but not brightness. I don't know. We'll try that. Yeah, I mean, gaming for me has always been the thing. Like I played my first game I ever played briefly was, it was like late 70s, 1980, and I would probably say since then, it's been, you know, yeah. I would difficult. I find it difficult. I would find it difficult to try and think of even a day where either I haven't gamed or I haven't read about gaming or something in a magazine or whatever. Like since then, I would say. So it's been a constant. A lot of people say, "Oh, they drift away from it, they come back to it, and all that sort of stuff." That never happened to me. Gaming has just been a constant through my whole life, pretty well, most of it anyway. That and Arsenal, of course, football. You kind of like. I'm not sure if it's the same now. I guess it probably is if you live in London and those kind of working class areas still, where you got a football ground locally. But yeah, I was kind of indoctrinated into supporting Arsenal. That's brought me a great deal of joy and tears over the years. Yeah, well, I was born in Plaistow, and I lived in Custom House for quite a while, which is right near the docks. In fact, I lived there pretty much up until we moved to East Kent, pretty much, yeah. I think we must have moved away because I know Stratford went through a period of regeneration with the Olympics thing, wasn't it? I don't think it's any less of a shithole than it used to be, but I know that there's a massive shopping centre and sports arena there, isn't there now, or something, I think, and what have you. And I think the station is now called Stratford International Station, whereas it was just called Stratford when I was a kid. Yeah, we used to work because like we lived nearer West Ham than we did Arsenal, but my nan was an Arsenal fan, and so the rest of the family was. so that's kind of where it come from. But like as a like a, you used to be able to go to Upton Park, and they would let you in for the last half an hour for free of charge, because we couldn't really afford to go and pay to go and watch. So, but a bunch of us used to go there. And about half an hour of the game left, they'd let you go in. I remember my first experience of going to watch a football match live was completely weird, because it's like, I mean, obviously it's like, obviously you don't expect to go there and you can hear the commentators commentating on the game, but it's so weird just to go and watch a football game with no commentary that you're used to on the television. It's such a different experience. Where's that bloody... I'm not sure if it shows up on the... I think it does. The stuff shows up on the Mage pets. I'm going to get the... try and kill the skeleton with a shield and give it to my pet. Well, I should probably save it for the next time I play, really. I think the only change I would make to Everquest, I think the only thing I think I would probably change out of everything would be, I would go around and I would not itemise, mobbize the zones a bit more. I think I would make the levelling process slightly more linear, and I would include just some more mobs. I think that's about it. Yeah, it must have been around 78, 79 kind of thing when we were going. It was that cheap, 50p. Maybe I remember it as being £1. I think what it was now is they didn't let you in for free, but if you turned up for the last half an hour of the game, they would let you in for like a reduced cost or something. It might have been 50p. Yeah. Oh, the old brittle skeleton's turned yellow. Let's give it a go. I think if my pet roots it, I will move out of the way, because I'm sure it will whack me big time. See how the pet deals with it. Oof, no, maybe not. Yeah, West Carana has got the space to have loads of cool camps. Wow, these guys are... It's amazing how that extra level or two is a massive difference. I'm barely scratching it with my nuke. Pet's kind of hanging in there, but I don't have a pet heal. I think I get one at level 8 maybe. Oh, jobbing. Nearly. Ugh, no way. Catch the pigeon. Yeah, West Carana definitely could have... I think all the Caranas to a certain extent. There's just big swathes of space. I think, as I said earlier on, though, I think it was at the time it was like a memory issue. I think there was a thing with memory, particularly to do with models. You know, like player models and the types of the variety of models and stuff in one zone. I think it was just a memory issue. There's no excuse for that now, though. As I said before, I don't know why modern indie games, we're still at a point where it's difficult to judge how many people you're going to get for a test, right? And of course, when the game comes out, you can just produce more servers, but it just feels there just shouldn't be any need for people. You shouldn't have to run around for 5 minutes trying to find a mob to kill. That's not fun. It's not classic fun. It's just it shouldn't be a thing. But hopefully it will get worked out somewhere. Yeah, well, that was um, old Lord British said that before Ultra Online came out. He had this kind of thing that you might wanted to implement where, like, the example he used was that dragons would migrate essentially, so they might move into it. A dragon might move into an area and kill all the wildlife, so there won't be any wildlife available, and it'll kind of move on. I mean, that never happened, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping that AI in some way makes gaming better in general. From a visuals, I don't really care about. What I'm wanting now is just a far more detailed world where everything acts more naturally around you. Um, like it would be good to have AI in games where, so EverQuest has kind of got some of that, right? You can kind of trigger some quests where NPCs spawn and they fight each other and whatnot. But it would be good if you just had bands of AI that went around and they took over camps or certain points of interest. You get goblins attacking orcs or something and that kind of thing. So it was kind of like a bit of a natural. So things would be different naturally. The camp will be different with different mobs depending on who was currently owning the camp or whatever it was, that kind of thing. Like in EverQuest lore, you get quite a lot of stuff talking about, battles between races and stuff. Like Guck was one of the areas, wasn't it? I always thought it would have been cool if there was this like constant fight for Guck between the Froglocks and the trolls and stuff. But I guess maybe that might be quite difficult if you're actually each on a dungeon experience. But yeah, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping AI kind of makes that sort of stuff easier for people. Yeah, I always thought it'd be cool to also like have conversations with mobs in some way. Like there wasn't just this natural. Like in EverQuest, you can learn different languages, but you don't really use them in any way particularly. I always thought that would have been a good thing. Oh, nice, mate. Yeah, I think like we've had a period of what the UK regards as hot weather, but for the last few days it's been a bit windy and grey. So yeah, I think our summer's kind of done pretty much. Okay, I don't think we're going to be that. There's again, it's very basic, but they implemented a very basic form in June Awakening, where, and it does feel artificial, obviously, but some opposing faction mobs will spawn in, and they will just attack a point, and it is quite interesting, and it'll be good if the factions, as you say, like orcs or goblins or whatever, can own camps at different times. That'd be quite interesting. Um, I think it's a bit like I think it's a bit like it's like in EverQuest, for example, they're like in some areas at night, different types of mob spawn. So it's kind of taking that to the next level, isn't it? It's trying to. Uh, oh, nice one, mate. I imagine going to your Italian mother-in-law's for lunch is probably pretty good. Yeah, I think our summer's pretty much gone, Liz. I think mostly. Um, I think it's starting to we're getting close to September. I think we've kind of Kind of lost the. Hey mate, how you going? Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Just faffing about around on Greens Day. I never did it, but I think there was a thing. Was it Oblivion where there was the quest where you? Because it'd be good if you could trigger stuff as well. I never did it myself, but I think there was a. I think there was a thing in Oblivion where you stole a relic from somewhere, and you took it to a dungeon where there were goblins, and I think another faction of goblins attacked the dungeon to get the relic back or something. I'm not sure if that was just some sort of urban myth or whatever, or you know, gaming myth, gaming legend that never wasn't actually true. I don't know, but I'm sure I heard about that. That would be quite cool if you could, yeah, if you could be involved some way, mechanically in changing an area, that'd be pretty cool. Okay, well, a bit small. It's a bit slim pickings here now. What is? Oh, I've got kebab. It looks a bit like a kebab as well. He's still yellow though. Am I level 5? Ah, so kebab is level 6. That's right. Staff triggered it. Yeah, that would be cool to be able to have that effect in an MMO. I actually think, particularly Velius, I think did a lot of that stuff really well with regards to player interaction causing things happening in the world. I think it was pretty good. But we need to move on to the next level, I think. Oh man, I feel like it's all going so well, but now I feel like I'm in the wrong area. Pure, it's all red. Yeah, the brittle skeleton absolutely hammered me. that was not a good idea. It feels like that kind of thing was something that should have, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm being unreasonable, but like having a team of people that run events should have been something that happened a long time ago in MMOs. I know some games have tried it, but you know, I just think that would make such an amazing difference. I like Eternal Tombs have got this thing going on that I like the looks of. They kind of got a system where they've got an amount of events that kind of trigger automatically varying types. I think some of them depend on what's going on in the zone, who's in the zone, that kind of thing. Hey, yeah, have a good one, Steve. I enjoy all that nice Italian food later on. Talking of weather, I've seen quite a lot of funny videos recently of just some of the garbage I watch on YouTube of Americans coming to the UK and thinking, why are the Brits making a fuss about the fact that it's 25 or 30 and then getting here and realising that the I guess the humidity in the atmosphere make it seem a lot worse than that, and they can't deal with it. Okay, so I don't think we can beat that. Oh, excuse me. wonder if we can clear that kobold camp out quickly. Maybe if we nuke. Maybe if we just nuke. Yeah, GM events. It was something that they tried, but you know, it just feels like a. But as I said, like I like the sound of the Eternal Tomb system. That feels like. Let's give my dude a spear just for a laugh. I quite like giving. I love. Well, I say quite like. I love giving pet stuff. I think the skeletons particularly look really fun. Give them something. Particularly if they're dual wielding or they've got a massive two-hander or something. Another box. Oh, he's. I don't think he's not actually dual wielding, but he's carrying both. He's holding both of them. So, from a looks point of view. Oh, a shaman. Can we defeat a shaman? Yellow shaman. My pet's yellow. Let's give it a go, just for a laugh. Why not? Let's YOLO this shaman. Oh yeah, he's got much less hit points than that skeleton. Maybe he's probably spamming heal on himself though, isn't he? Nice. There's a thing with Everquest, I think, when the game and other games have never quite captured, and it's just lazy, the laziness of just, oh god, laziness of just hanging around an area, just pulling a mob and killing it, and you know, taking in the atmosphere and stuff. I think I said before, it's one of those things that you can't. It's difficult to put your finger on as to how the hows and the whys of it. But it's just a feeling of doing it that's This old Yendar coming over the hill. What's that coming over the hill? Is it a Yendar? Is it a yeah? I think it is. He looks so cool in a purple robe. Right, so we've got no shaman, that's good. We've got 3 normal kobolds. So let's see if we can nuke the 3 down quick. Clear the camp. I'll keep an eye out for that bloody troll. Do you know what, mate? I had an itch to make a barbarian shaman as well recently. I think it was more an itch just to hang around Everfrost though. I love the atmosphere there. That horrible, I say horrible. That repeating like almost 1 second sound effect of the wind blowing over and over again. That sets me off to sleep. What the hell? Oh, they got faction, those dudes, haven't they? I forgot about that. I thought, what the hell's attacking me? Am I dead? No. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can just nuke stuff dead. I'm sure they're all aggro. You might be right, actually. Oh, kebabs. Done me proud there. Yeah, I think it's one of my favourites. That and Kenos Hills, I think. What I like about the barbarian, the others have got it to a certain extent, but what I like about the barbarian shaman is that, well, actually, the barbarian area in general is that there are some starter quests there where you can get yourself whatever type of weapon you need, plus some armor by turning stuff in to get you going. And not all cities have that, weirdly. That not in such a way. I think it's the polar bear pelts you give in. You get a random piece of armor and stuff to get you going. And I think there's a few. I think the Shaman Guild's got a starter weapon quest as well. It's a nice thing to start off and just experience that non-twinked kind of just start. Because it's one of the bigger zones, I think, as well. Particularly because it obviously incorporates the starting area plus further on. I like the feeling of progression, like working towards the big area, the big open area where the mobs get higher and higher. It's really cool. In fact, maybe I'll do that tomorrow, just to for the feels. I think I probably need to go and sell at some point as well. It's one of those decisions though that EverQuest gave to you, isn't it? I've got like a yellow pet, so I don't want to lose my yellow pet. Just me in the zone. Wow. Yeah, Neriak was such a it's Neriak another amazing zone from an atmosphere point of view. The design dudes and dudesses, whoever they were just on another level. I wonder what the art. I probably should know. I'm sure I've read books about it before, but I wonder what the artists went on to do. I know some of the original EverQuest team worked on Vanilla WoW, but I'm not sure if they were the artists though. I wonder what if they went on to do any other games. Yeah, the design of everything is just phenomenal, isn't it? It's just so much character, really. I think visually, it definitely is one of those like what it's once in a. It's unique. I think you can never recapture it. There's a certain D and D ness to the some of the models, which I think is obviously understandable. I remember looking at a monster manual, D&D monster manual, an old one. Things like kobolds and stuff. It's kind of like quite. Oh, excuse me. It's quite a similarity. particularly around the kind of whenever I start a new character, I'm leveling. I cannot resist killing. Oh, got a little. Cannot resist killing humanoids. It's just that. It's just that. Will I get a bag? It's like the dopamine thing. But as you can see, I've got some bags and some boxes, but I haven't got. I didn't get a proper bag. I think the thing with starting a barbarian as well is that you kind of, I guess naturally you gravitate towards Blackburrow. But I did purposely level one once, just by staying in at the Everfrost area and going into that big open expanse that leads to the dungeon entrance, permafrost dungeon entrance. And yeah, it's cool there. Lots of spiders and orcs and stuff wandering around. Pretty lethal. Okay. Oh, how unlucky is that? Double shaman spawn. What the hell? That is unlucky, isn't it? I wonder if they're locked because of line of sight. I wonder if these tents block line of sight. Because if they do... No, they don't. Oh well, we're in. Kabobba. It's up to us, mate. Oh, gonna eat a death here. Let's move away from the camp, just in case. Oh no, they're all right. They're going to be healing each other. Come on, Kebab. Come on. Just get one. If we fit, that's it. Whew, nice. You're running out of steam. Running out of steam, running out of mana. Actually, I should go and sell at the druid. The troll's just coming. So we'll let her do whatever she does. Don't think she comes over here, does she, surely? I forgot that there's an NPC over here to sell to. Yeah, but yeah, it's proper hardcore as well, Blackburrow. Like you literally you just die there. It is a place of death, but pretty cool as well. What I might do, oops. What I might do is work up my one-handed blunt. Maybe use that cracked staff that I've got. Not sure if there's any other spells I should have. I'll check it out later. Yeah, many a time you just got swarmed out of nowhere in Blackborough. Just like literally, you pull a mob, it doesn't appear as though there's anything around it, but you just a load of gnolls just come out of the walls almost. It feels like maybe they did. Let's see if I can. We're not up to full, but I wonder if I can keep my camp going. What I don't want is too many more. We don't want is too many more shaman spawning. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what route the troll takes. I'll stay up here. Yeah, it's quite vertical. There's definitely a lot of. It's definitely a zone to, well, like all the zones in EverQuest, really. Like you needed to learn it, didn't you? Didn't you really? The layout was pretty complex. Got one Malachi left, so I need to buy a stack of that when we get to. Oh God! Right past me she came. What sort of nonsense is that? Somehow my pet managed to root her though, so we can gate the hell out of there. Now I know they introduced rubber banding or something on P99, didn't they, at some point maybe? I wonder if she will chase us, which is a long way away. I can't believe my pet managed to keep her rooted. That was pretty. That was pretty cool. I don't know if the root is. Do you know what, that weird wording thing on the names is just remains. I wonder if there's a bit of an OBS. It must be OBS. Bit of an OBS issue there, showing the names of the character of the NPCs. Maybe we were just too far away, and she hasn't chased us. Let's go and find out. I'm trying to remember. They did introduce some weird thing, didn't they, on P99 to do with. I'm sure they did, didn't they? Where like a mob wouldn't always necessarily follow you all the way to the end of the zone. But I wonder if I move back into aggro range of them, then she was just aggro again. It might be a thing. think she was a shaman as well. So probably got so. Oh, well, I probably should have zoned in and out to the city, shouldn't I? Just to be sure of wiping aggro, but. We certainly dodged a bullet though. There's some great routing by Kebab. Now it's a classic John Anna now. Okay, so let's see if we can clear this camp. I think we need to. Shaman needs to go first, obviously. Doesn't look like there's any re-aggroing shenanigans going on. So we will just try and clear the camp. Actually, though, I think we'll need 4 mana first. I've got this expectation of seeing it come charging over the hill at me again. So I'll keep my eyes open. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but I'm sure they introduced some kind of leashing thing where mobs would stop chasing you at a certain point. But I seem to remember if you got too close to their vicinity again, they would kind of re-aggro on you. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'm imagining that. Well, in the meantime, we have got a pop down here, which is a shaman. So let's see if we can. Go, John Anna. It's nice if you can get a good two-handed weapon to give your pet for that extra early damage. Joanna's taking a bit of a beating though. Ugh. Okay, cool. I noticed that you get not on this character particularly, but just faffing around with other characters as well. I'm not sure if the players still playing P99 are just so focused now on what they're doing. It's all about just like kind of raiding and stuff for most people and whatnot. But I've seen a disappointing amount of buffs flying around from people. That was something that I always enjoyed doing on my shaman. Not a druids particularly, just porting in and going running off without buffing you and stuff. Yeah, you know, not obliged to do it obviously, but it's a bit disappointing. That was always a big part of it. But maybe it's just such a focused few now that are playing. They're just, you know, they don't even think that new players are coming in. It's just, you know, it's just us. We're just raiding. Let's see who. Lots of 60s on. Kingdom, Good Guys, Castle. I've heard of some of the guilds. Castle, yeah. Oh, Legacy of Fire, Lineage. Some of them are quite old, aren't they? Syndicate. I was talking about getting to 60 earlier and kind of wondering what the value is of getting to 60. And I think there definitely is. I think at 60, like, there are certain things that kind of open up for you. I think particularly if you've got a class that can do a lot, like if you've got a level 60 enchanter, you kind of log in and you kind of almost decide what shall I do today kind of thing. You know, many of the dungeons are open up to you if you can't get a group or whatever it may be. So yeah, I think there's definitely some value there to that. Oops. Bloody clockwork's aggroing. You're green, for God's sake. What's the matter with you? I think if you play like peak times, you'll probably be all right. I'd imagine there's still some hundreds of people playing during peak times. I'm not sure what it gets up to. I think for grouping, what you probably need to do now is, I guess it was always the same though, really. Like just hit the main leveling highways, I guess. You know, that'd be the thing to do. Right, okay. Let's see if we can clear out this camp. Oh, okay. Shame it's only blue. That's good. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If you've got a guild already, then yeah. You can tell I'm paranoid about the troll. I'm not even looking at the fight. Okay, what you got for me? Oh, I haven't got one of those yet. There you go. Not quite a full set of armour. I haven't got a belt. Not sure if they drop belts though. Okay, friends. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day. I might. As I said, I've been playing GTA games. I might stream some GTA Vice City at some point for those 80s vibes. Pretty cool. Just, you know, I was talking about. I was talking to someone about this. We were talking about social media and what a shit show social media is. And I mean, I don't think it is in a sense of what it is as a tool. It's just what people do with that tool. But we were talking about back in the day where you kind of had you know, it wasn't any different really back in the day. Like, I mean, I was an early adopter of the internet, probably like many of you. And we still had social, but it was limited to forums. You know, so if you were interested in Everquest, you went and joined an Everquest forum and spoke to people. So it was more contained within the subject that you were interested in. But I think at the time, if you were into Star Wars, you were generally into Star Wars, and you could be stereotyped. if you were into EverQuest, you were into EverQuest, and you could be stereotyped. But I'm not sure now I'm not saying you can't meet two like-minded people or a group of like-minded people in an MMO now. I'm sure you probably can, but I'm not sure if it's the same. I'm not sure if the people are the same. I think that there are so many different things to take over that to take up people's time and stuff. I don't think it's like if you played EverQuest back in the day, you played EverQuest because you'd probably played D&D or whatever it was, whatever the reason was. Or you had a parent like my kids did who played the game and stuff. And you probably like the similar sort of things. You probably if you spoke to someone back then and you listed the 10 things you're into, those lists would probably match up. I don't know if you can. I don't know. Can you randomly find people now that are into the same things as you, and you got some more stuff to talk about and that kind of thing, as opposed to just like a passing group, where no one really says much or whatever. I'm not sure. I guess that's what things like Discord are for now, aren't they? So you can actually have conversations with those people. But it's interesting. It just came up because we were talking about forums. And we were talking about, when you went to a forum back in the day, you essentially knew what sort of person you were going to come across, and they would quite often be just exactly like you. Whereas gaming now is much more open, and I'm not sure if that's the case. It was one of the things that I was not convinced about when some of the early kind of goings on, some of the early conversations that the team were having about Pantheon when Brad was still alive. They kind of would speak about grouping in dungeons and stuff, and how it was very much almost like a D&D night kind of social aspect thing. And everyone had the same ideals. You all thought the same. You wanted to play the game the same, and that kind of thing. And I just don't think that's that. I don't think that's a reality for people anymore. Particularly people who played MMOs back in the day. I think there's such a difference in what people are doing with their lives. And there's many people that I hear about quite a lot who leave comments on the channel and stuff and said I haven't seen EverQuest even until I've come across your videos for like 20 years, so people really did fall out of it and have families and whatever it may be. But anyway, interesting. It's all interesting. I kind of wonder if one of the things I noticed playing the indie MMOs, all of them, is how there are certain players that really, really, really want to kind of... I've lost connection with the game for some reason. I'm not sure if that means my internet's gone. I don't think so. Oh, it's come back again. There are some people that really, 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 really want there to be the current game they're playing to be like the experience they had. And I'm just not sure. And I think maybe in trying to force that in your head, I'm not sure that's a good thing either for the player or the game. So like in the Monsters and Memories test recently, there were so many comments in OOC, you know what I mean, things like looking for port to East Commons or whatever, and it's in the end I was like cringing. I was like, oh god, it almost feels like, I don't know. I kind of wonder if those sort of people will actually play the game long term, or if they're just trying to recreate something in their head that is never going to happen. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out. I guess it's all interesting. But these kind of things just came up when I was talking about old school forums, and BBSs and stuff and whatnot back in the day, comparing it to what social media is like now and whatnot. Yeah. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm going to stop streaming. I kind of got my PC all set up again mostly. I think, as you probably gathered, I'm kind of in that mode at the moment where I'm not, like, if I could find something to play that I can stream, then I would probably be streaming a lot more. But I've kind of returned to Everquest, as it were, a bit, you know, because I guess sometimes it happens. I mean, when I play, I enjoy it, but I think sometimes it does happen because it's just because there's a lack of other things to play, you know. I guess that's why I'm playing some single player games as well. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back at some point soon, no doubt, to moan about the same things. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.